What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we've got the best trade targets as well as the best C/VC options for this week. Now I know I usually do this in two separate videos, but yeah, I haven't really been bothered with Supercoach lately. But let's go over who people are bringing in. I'll give you guys my thoughts on them, and we'll go from there. Then we'll talk about the VC and C. Alright, so Callum Mills, most traded in player. It makes sense, you know, you're getting a guy who started the year at 630k for 400k. Seems like the role's back. He's playing a lot of midfield. I think Dane Rampy back now sort of makes that he's going to be a guaranteed mid. I think I'm bringing him in personally, and I'm pretty confident in this pick. The only thing is, Tom on ground's a slight concern, but I'm still confident that he will still average at least 105 for the rest of the year. In a full-time mid-roll, at least 105, which is enough for 400k, more than enough. So yeah, I think he's a no-brainer pick. Plays Richmond tonight. They shouldn't tag. I don't think they have anyone that tags still, so I'd be confident in Mills. I'm not going to chuck the VC on him, but it wouldn't surprise me if he went massive tonight. Anyway, moving on. So David Cunningham and Lockie Fogarty. So if I had to pick between one of them, I'd probably go Cunningham. I think Cunningham to the eye has looked much better than Fogarty. Obviously, Fogarty's only played the one game. I think he turned up or something. Or maybe he's played two. He might have played two. Let's have a look. It's almost like I could click on his name and have a look. He's played two. Okay, so it's minus 55 break even. He had a 51 and a 99. One thing I did notice about his game is he had CBAs. So that's a very positive sign about him. If you are looking for a downgrade option at this point of the season, I'd probably go with Cunningham. I think he has slightly better job security. And I just think he's just a bit more talented anyway and better. But obviously both are great options. Similar break-evens for both of them. Yeah, flip a coin, I guess. But I'd probably go Cunningham if I was to bring anyone in. People are bringing in Butters, yeah, makes sense. Sarong makes heaps of sense. You know, here's one that's just super value. 562k for a guy averaging 113. If I could afford Sarong over Mills, 100% I'm getting him. Fortunately, I can't, so I have to go with Mills. Beggars can't be choosers. Merritt's another one. People are bringing in. Break even 72. I mean, this guy's going to get to 700k at this rate. He's an absolute monster. Plays Adelaide. Might cop Ben Keys. So keep an eye on that. Probably wouldn't see on VC him this week. We'll talk about that more later in the video. So Dan Houston got a bit bailed out by the scaling last week, obviously, but still looks pretty good. His floor is extremely low, as you guys can see. He scored 47, and if I bring in a guy for 550k and he scores 47, I am not going to be happy. So if you guys want to take a punt on a roller coaster like Houston, and this guy's the same, he's in the same boat every year. He's just the roller coaster every single year, so I won't be going near him. People are bringing in Lockie Neal, 630k. And you kind of missed the boat if you know, we're looking for him at a value price. But I mean, you look at his scores since that 63 against Carlton, it's just been ridiculous. Very consistent and looks like he's back to his best. So I'm very happy I have him. Obviously, I started him, went through the bit of the roller coaster the first 8 rounds, but looks good for a good end of the season, which is kind of rare for Lockie Neal, just because he usually starts off hot and then fades late. I think it's usually he gets tagged later in the season and for some reason gets no attention at the start. So it's weird that it's flipped this year. Connor Rozee, 584k. I mean, this guy's another one who's been very, very consistent this year. I'm happy. I think the midfield split now, it means he is a much more consistent scorer than what he was last year. Obviously, he had a few games where he was like really low last year. I think he got like no CBAs in those games. So yeah, Rosie's been a good pick. I did say he was not a must-have at the start of the year. He still wasn't really a must-have. I think did he dip at all in price? Not really. He sort of just floated around, and now he's starting to get close to that 600k mark. So Rosie was a good pick. Who are people trading out? Nat 5. Yeah, unfortunate for anyone that brought him in. Eddie Ford's going. Fair enough. I guess just a cash grab. People are trading out Dunkley. That's interesting. I mean, I guess if you're playing for ranking and you have the trades, which I certainly do not. He is expensive too, so it could be a play if you're in a position where you can't get full primo. You downgrade someone like a Dunkley and a 5, or a Dunkley at 300k play, and you get 2 500 odd Ks, like a Mills and a Keys or something like that, or a Mills and Sarong. You know, that makes sense. But for most people, I think we just got to hold Josh Dunkley. He's an absolute uber premium. Obviously 2 weeks is a bit annoying, but is what it is. Sincotta, people trading out, yeah. Wardlaw, everyone's just cashing in. Oliver, yeah, probably has to go now. It doesn't look good, man. It's just what an absolute nightmare it has been for Oliver owners. I feel sorry for everyone that has him. Still, it's just this is what happens with Supercoach sometimes. Is you get a player that gets injured, and initially it's one, then it turns into two, turns into three, turns into four. I don't even know how many weeks it's been now. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, you've been so unlucky. Anyone that's stuck with him. But I mean, it looks like he got to jump off now. He looks like he's re-aggravated. I think I heard. I think it was reported that he like fully re-aggravated it or something, his hamstring, and he's going to miss a few weeks now. So yeah, the damage has been done, unfortunately. I think holding him. Van Rooyen, Seamus Mitchell, Horn Francis, bin them all. All right, let's talk about VC and C options this week. Let's get fun. So I'm going Bont into Neil. We'll talk about the reasons as we go down the list. So first game, Richmond versus Sydney. Now you could go Taranto. I think Rowbottom might go to him. Obviously, if Richmond or Sydney going to tag Richmond, they're going to Taranto. There's no doubt about it. Hopper and I don't even think Presty is playing. No one's going to Jacob Hopper. No one's going to Trent Cotchin. It's going to be Taranto if they tag. So that's one thing to be a little bit concerned about because Rowbottom is a good tagger. And then obviously on Sydney's end, you've got Callum Mills. But for me, I'm not taking that risk. I'm not wasting my VC. But let's see how Mills has gone the last few against Richmond, actually. I reckon he'd be alright. 97, 117, 109. Yeah, okay. Yeah, not the sort of risk I'm willing to take. If his time on ground gets good again, I will be more likely to VC him because he's obviously got a massive ceiling. But yeah, at this point, not for me. Bulldogs Collingwood, very, very relevant game. So we'll talk about Tim English first. I think he could really dominate Darcy Cameron. Coming off some good games, but he's never really gone big against Collingwood. So I won't go him, but I do think he's a great VC option. Collingwood obviously got DCAM. He's not worth talking about for VC or C. You've got Nick Dacos. I don't think he gets any time put into him either. He only scored 69 round 9, but it's alright. It was his rookie year. Look, I think Dacos will be fine. The midfield is a lot better than his verse. Like, he's played Gold Coast. He was playing full-time mid against Gold Coast. I think DeGoey's back this week, which is interesting because it makes you think, well, if DeGoey's going to get CBAs, it probably pushes Nick Dacos out. And I think Dacos is that one mid that can sort of play anywhere, so it doesn't really... and I think Craig McRae came out and said that Dacos can play anywhere, like they're willing to chuck him anywhere. I think he'll score in any position, but the thing is, like, Maynard's been taking kick-ins, Darcy Moore's been taking kick-ins, so if he goes to the back line, will he get that bulk kick-ins that he once had? I don't think he will. I think he'll definitely get a few, but he might get sort of caught in between that midfield and the back line to the point where he's not getting kick-ins. So, look, it's probably overthinking it, to be honest, but I probably will steer clear from Nick Dacos this week. But that being said, like, this guy's... I don't think I've captained him once this year, whereas it's pretty disrespectful considering how good he's been. But, yeah, for me, I'm going King Bont. Collingwood will not tag. They don't have anyone to tag, or anyone that tags. I don't know how Bont's gone in his last few, but he is a marvel. I got a good feeling about him. 125, 92, 76. I just think this is Bont's game to take over. Friday night, big game. Like, yeah, I'm backing in the Bont. Brisbane versus West Coast. So this one's a bit of a no-brainer. So Lachie Neale against West Coast. You would assume goes large, especially at the Gabba. Now, no Dunkley means Neale almost guaranteed cops a bit of attention if they're going to put time into someone. I don't think they put any time into anyone last week, and it worked really well for them. So, look, if I was West Coast coach, I wouldn't be tagging Neale, but you never know. We'll have to wait and see for team sheets, but I still think Neale, even with a tag, his form right now is just really, really good. So I'll probably take a punt on him. Any other players? Not really from this game. I mean, Dunkley, if we had him, would have been good. But yeah, obviously he's out for 1 to 2. Jitter West versus Hawthorn. I mean, you could go Tom Green. I think, yeah, Tom Green's not a bad option. No one else really. St Kilda versus Melbourne. Christian Petrarca should go very large in that game as well. Jack Steele, nope. Jack Sinclair, I don't think they'll tag him, so he's another one that could be a sneaky one. Port versus Gold Coast. I mean, if you got Wits should manhandle whoever Port's ruckies. I think they had that. Are they going to bring Teakle back? I mean, whoever they have. If Lyset's injured, Port's backup rucks are terrible. So I'd be betting on Wits to absolutely dominate that game. Rosie's not a bad option. I just think guys like Rosie and Butters, they're better VC options than C. But yeah, that's just sort of my opinion. Geelong versus North, not really anyone too relevant from them. Essendon versus Adelaide, so obviously you've got Merritt, but I do think he cops Ben Keys. And Keys hasn't been doing like super hard tags. It's like a kind of run with the stoppages, or just you know, sort of be accountable for the player at the stoppages. But even still, like, I don't think he's done any real lockdowns for a while. I think he did alright on Nick Dacos when that was more of like a real shutdown. But yeah, look, I don't know if I would go Merritt. And I don't think I'm trusting Laird or Dawson anymore for the straight C. And obviously being Sunday at 320, you're going to have to straight C them. So yeah, I'd probably steer clear, but obviously one of those three will go big, no doubt about it. Maybe they all might, really. But yeah. Freo versus Carlton. I mean, you could go Brayshaw. Sarong's not a bad shout either. I don't think Carlton will tag. I mean, maybe Ed Kerno put some time into people. I don't know why they're still playing him. I think he's washed. I did like him when he was, you know, in his prime. He was a pretty solid player, but now he's just a bit washed up. So yeah, it is what it is. In terms of my team, now I've been pretty lazy with the videos. I'll do one every night this week. All right, everyone's got to hold me accountable. If I don't post a post game review, you got to send me a death threat or something. I don't know. I'm only joking, but no, I'll try and be more consistent with the uploads because look, this is a pretty big patch of Supercoach, and I know has gotten a bit more boring for people, but this is a big patch of Supercoach now where we're all low on trades. We have to start critically trading and holding trades. So yeah, it's important to upload is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, keep me accountable, comment on my videos, have a go at me, whatnot. In terms of my team, Windhager is probably the one I'm going to take a punt on. Now, if I could somehow get Johnson instead, I would, but unfortunately, can't really do that. So, look, Windhager, I don't trust him. Definitely not. I do think he's a good player. I just think he sort of gets caught in no man's land a little bit when he's running around. But I do trust him more than Eddie Ford and more than Ryan Marriage. Now, could I loop between these guys? I don't think so because I don't have that DPP cover. If I had a forward mid, I could swing onto the bench like Dunkley. Then it would work out alright. But yeah, I can't loop. So I think I'm just going to have to take a punt. Hope Winghager does alright. I think most people will be in a similar boat where they actually might even have to field Marriage. Which I don't like the idea of doing that one bit. Actually, what I could do is I could loop Marriage. So he plays first. I mean, if he goes 60 plus, I'm taking it. And then I just swing Dunkley back down there. Yeah, okay. So that's probably what I will do. That sort of makes it like it's kind of it counteracts anyone from a Marriage fluke game. You know, he kicks 4 or something and scores 90. I don't know. Don't think that's going to happen. I think I'm dreaming, but if it does happen, I do have the emergency on him and I can use that. But yeah, that's how the team sits at this point. Darcy Cameron, I mean, who even knows if he's a primo? Like, that was a shocking performance. And then, yeah, no Jack Steele, thank goodness. So pretty confident with these trades. Steele and Yo out for Tom Green and Callum Mills. I really like Tom Green's game, and I know he had like 38 touches just to get to 128, which isn't great, but I just think he's playing a bit more smart or smarter. He's not blindly handballing or kicking as much, because the amount of times I just saw him do a handball and he's not looking and he's just fucking turned it straight over. It's ridiculous. But yeah, happy to go with Tom Green. I think he'll average at least 105 for the rest of the year, which is enough for me. Just want a consistent ton. You know, Jack Steele I can't deal with anymore, man. I just can't watch him anymore. Now that I got rid of him, I'll probably go off. But yeah, that's where I'm sitting this week. As I said, going Bont into Neil. Definitely a longer video today compared to the usual of late. But yeah, that's it for the video, guys. If you stayed to the end, appreciate it a lot. Don't forget to drop a like, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.